we can start the live, Vinita Mataji, if you're there.
Thank you, Mataji, for coming over and giving the wonderful class for the kids. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the opportunity as always.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Kartik.
Hare Krishna, Kartik.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Shri.
Hare Krishna, Shri.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Pranav.
Hare Krishna, Pranav. Okay. So I'm so glad all of you are there here today. And today I know many of you were waiting for story time. But unfortunately, Mataji, have you started the recording?
Yes, Mataji.
It started? Okay. So unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever it is, we are not going to have the storytelling now, but we have something very interesting for you. We are going to learn something about Srila Prabhupada. So whose appearance day is today?
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada. Okay, what else is this day known as? Nandotsav. Okay. Alakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Mitramne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshtarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are going to learn about the life of Srila Prabhupada. Especially we are going to concentrate on his early life. That would be interesting for the children. And then of course we are also going to see what all he accomplished, okay, in his later life. So the early life of Srila Prabhupada. So once upon a time, many years ago, it was Janmashtami celebrations in Calcutta. Okay, in India, there is a place called as Calcutta. Today it's called as Kolkata. Okay, even ancient days also it was called as Kolkata. So it was Janmashtami time, just like how yesterday you all celebrated Janmashtami. Similarly, in Calcutta, many years back, everyone was celebrating Janmashtami. And at that time, a son was about to be born to a particular parent. Okay, the very next day on Nandotsav, which is again today in this year, this particular day, September 1st in 1896, in a small house in a suburb of Calcutta, a male child was born under a jackfruit tree. So in those days, they used to give birth to children under a tree so that, the child is protected and the environment is good. So a male child was born in Calcutta under a jackfruit tree. And since he was born on Nandotsav, that is today, Nandotsav is the day when Nanda Maharaj, he celebrates the birth of Krishna. The day after the birth of Krishna is called as Nanda Mahotsav. So since he was born on Nanda Mahotsav, his father actually wanted to give him a very, very interesting name. His father's name was Gaur Mohan De and his mother's name was Rajini. Okay, his father gave him the name Abhay Charan, but his uncles would call him Nandulal. Because he was born on Nandotsav, he became Nandulal. Okay, so he got two names. His uncles called him Nandulal and his father named him Abhay Charan. Abhay Charan means one who is fearless, having taken shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So like that, Srila Prabhupada, who was Abhay Charan, little Abhay Charan, was born. And after he was born, they made some astrological predictions about the child. So when all of you are born, generally your parents cast a horoscope. Okay? Based on the time of birth, where you are born, and other details, place of birth, time of birth, day of birth, all this they put together and they cast a horoscope. So like that, Abhay Charan's parents, when they saw that a beautiful boy baby was born, they decided to make his horoscope. So when they took it to the astrologer made the horoscope and he made a very interesting prediction. Okay, he saw the chart of Abhay Charan and he said that this child, when he reaches 70, he will cross over the ocean and he will become a great exponent of religion and establish 108 temples. After the age of 70, he will be establishing 108 temples after crossing the ocean. So imagine, this was long time back in 1986. Okay, 1896. 1896. It was long time back. That time nobody thought that anyone would cross the ocean and go and build temples. But this prediction was made about Srila Prabhupada. Hmm. So like that, Prabhupada, he had a very nice family environment. His parents were very sweet Vaishnavas. He had an excellent upbringing. He had sisters and brothers with whom he had a very nice relationship. So his childhood was very pleasant and very happy. One day, Prabhupada fell sick. Okay, so when Abhay Charan fell sick, all the doctors and his parents, they were all so worried as to how to make him healthy again. So at that time, one of the doctors suggested that you give him chicken soup. If he drinks that chicken soup, Prabhupada will become very healthy. But when they heard that, both Prabhupada and his father, both of them said no. No meat in any situation. Whatever may happen, his father was saying that he was very confident that his son will recover in the ancient traditional methods of taking medicine. There is no question of having meat in any situation. All the nutrition is present in vegetables. Okay, so like this, Prabhupada, even when he was a child, Prabhupada and his father, they showed by example. Whatever situation it may be. Prabhupada was really sick and all the doctors were telling you, give him chicken soup and he'll become very healthy. But then they were very strict and they said, no, it's not needed. And Prabhupada recovered in a very nice way by eating nutritious food cooked by his mother offered to Krishna. Okay. Then time rolled by and there was a huge plague in Calcutta. A plague, it was a disease, and just like how we have the COVID pandemic, like that, at one point in time, as he was a young boy and he was growing up, at that time there was in 1900s there was a vehement plague in Calcutta. This was back in 1900s, just a few years after he was born, when he was around 4 years old. And because this plague had attacked that area, so many people had vacated Calcutta, and it was very hard to put a stop to that plague. Just like now COVID situation is so bad, right? So many people are dying. So like that, when Abhay Charan was just 4 years old, there was a horrible plague. But then at that time, there was a young sadhu who was very intelligent, and he had an idea to actually stop the plague. So he arranged for a Krishna Sankirtan program, and in Calcutta, in Prabhupada's area, regardless of religion, all the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, the Parsis, people of all religion and all faith joined together and they chanted the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Like that, everybody together, they all chanted, and very soon they
Hare
were
Krishna,
able
Hare.
to counteract the plague. Yes, Hare Krishna. So they were able to counteract the plague, and everyone was so happy because of the power of the holy names. So the holy names go a long way. That's why when they hold Sankirtans and Kirtans, it is said that it is the greatest yajna in this age of Kali, and it can counteract anything. It can counteract any situation. So like this, they all had a big kirtan, and by the power of the sadhus and their chanting, even the plague was counteracted. Now Prabhupada, as he was growing up, he was very happy with whatever he had. Prabhupada, he was not very rich like so many people today. We have so many comforts. Back in India, at that time, Prabhupada did not have a very rich upbringing. He was in a very ordinary family. But he didn't have a car. He didn't even have a car. They didn't have anything much in the family. Many children were there, and they were satisfied with whatever their father got them. Just with a few 1 rupee in those days, they would get lots of mangoes.
I didn't come in Kahoot.
Yeah. So these kids, they would enjoy eating whatever they had. So Prabhupada was very, very satisfied even when he was a young child. And Prabhupada said, my father used to say, God has 10 hands. If he wants to take away from you with 2 hands, how much can you protect? And when he wants to give you with 10 hands, then with your 2 hands, how much can you take? So that's a very beautiful statement that Prabhupada made. He said during our early childhood, we didn't have much, but we were very happy because we know that God has given us everything and we must be satisfied with whatever Krishna has given us. God, he's got multiple hands. If he wants to take away from you, he can just take it away he can just take it away in a minute. With your 2 hands, how much of your wealth are you going to protect? And when he wants to give you with his thousands of hands, then with your 2 hands, how much are you going to take? How much can you take? How much can you eat? You can just eat till your belly is full. So you should not try to accumulate too much. This was the principle that Prabhupada and his father practiced since their childhood. So though Prabhupada was not from a very affluent family, he was very, very satisfied with whatever he had. Then what happened was Prabhupada's father, he was a very pious man, very, very pious man. He would invite a lot of sadhus to come home and give blessings to his children. Okay, so he used to invite several sadhus, and like this, one day, some sadhus had come, and at that time, Prabhupada's father, Gaur Mohan De, he told the Vaishnavas that actually, please give my son this blessing that he should become a servant of Radharani and a preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he should learn the devotional art of playing Mridanga. What a beautiful blessing to ask for, right? So when great saints and sannyasis visit, this is the blessing we should ask for. Prabhupada's father said, let him become a servant of Radharani. What better position is there in this universe than being the servant of Radharani and the Vaishnavas? And then he asked, let him become a preacher of Bhagavatam. Each one of you on the call, you all should become big preachers in Srimad Bhagavatam and our Vaishnava scriptures. And that's the reason you're all getting trained so nicely in this Govinda class, Madhava class, Damodar class, in our Sunday presentations. The idea is that when you come on the call, you should be able to learn nicely and you should be able to present very nicely from authoritative scriptures. So Srila Prabhupada's father, he also asked for the same benediction. Let my son learn very nicely and let him preach the message of Srimad Bhagavatam and let him also have the skill of playing the mridanga. So we all love kirtan and each one of us have a particular skill. Some of us like mridanga, some of us like harmonium, some of us like kartal, some of us like to sing, some of us like to just speak from Bhagavatam, or some of us just like to do some simple devotional service, very small devotional service like cleaning the altar. Even that is a wonderful devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada's father, he always asked for the best things, for the most wonderful things. So he was asking the sadhus, please bless my child that he should become an eternal servant of Srimati Radharani and always be situated in the mood of the servant in proper devotional service. So like this, Gaur Mohan De, he would receive the sadhus very regularly in his house and he would tell, please bless my son so that Radharani becomes very pleased with him. So like this, when he would ask, all these sadhus would give him profuse blessings. You all have nicknames, right? How many of you have nicknames? Okay. I see Sylvia, Surabhi, Gokul, and Krishna Priya. Can you tell your nicknames? I see Ramachandra. Tell your nicknames. Yes.
It's not a nickname, but some people just call me for fun.
What do they call you?
Ramu.
Ramu, very nice. Anyone else? Ishan. You want to say? Ishan. Oh, a lot of you have nicknames. Ovi, Kartik, Rakshita. Yes, go ahead. Keep telling.
My nickname is Keshav.
Keshav, very nice. I like Keshav very much. I like that name.
My nickname is Chillu.
Chillu. That's really cute.
Ashili?
My nickname is O.
Oh,
My nickname is Akshu.
Akshu, Ashili, Akshu. Oh, very sweet. Who else? Raise their hand.
Junku and her name is Rustic.
Lallu, Rasku. Very nice. So like that, all of them, they had, all of you have several nicknames. Like the Prabhupada, when he was growing up too, he was a young boy. He was a very mischievous boy. He also had nicknames. And the interesting nickname he had was Kachori Mukhi. Because he loved eating kachoris. All of you know what is kachori, right? So you see this picture here, and many of your parents have made kachoris today. I saw on the group. Many of them were posting pictures of kachoris. So Prabhupada, one of his most common nicknames when he was a child was Kachori Mukhi, and his grandmother would call him Kachori Mukhi because he would love eating kachoris. So Prabhupada's appearance, usually they make kachoris and rasgullas. All these are Prabhupada's favorites. So Prabhupada loved eating kachoris, and they would also call him sometimes Kocha, Nandu, Nandulal, and Moti. Okay, these were some interesting names of Srila Prabhupada. And his grandmother was very fond of him. She was the one who would call him Kachori Mukhi. And on and off, his grandmother would give him a lot of kachoris when he was a kid. He would secretly go and grab all the kachoris and stuff it in his pockets, in his pant pockets, so that he could eat it whenever he could. So that was his favorite, and that was his favorite for a very long time. Even when he was asked Srila Prabhupada as the founder of ISKCON, even then he loved kachoris. So like this, he liked to watch even vendors cooking busy on the roadside, and he would accept kachoris from them. He would accept kachoris from neighbors. So wherever he went, he would love eating kachoris, and he would stuff his pockets with kachoris. Then as Abhay became a little bigger, he wanted to have his own Rath Yatra cart. So he was from a devotional family, and he saw that Rath Yatra was celebrated in Puri, which is nearby. So he often thought that he wanted to perform his own Rath Yatra. And naturally, as he was a young boy, you see him in this picture here, he was a young little boy. So he asked his father for help. So his father wanted to give him a small cart so that he could have his own Rath Yatra function. And they went and asked the carpenter if the carpenter could make a cart for them. But then it was a little expensive. Then one old woman told them that I have a broken cart. I can give it if you can fix it. So then Gaur Mohan Dey, who's Prabhupada's father, and Prabhupada together, they constructed 16 supporting columns. You see that the picture, the rough picture here, 16 supporting columns, and they placed a canopy on top, and they made it as close as possible to the original Rath carts that are used in Puri. So they wanted to make it look very authentic, especially Prabhupada. He was so particular that it should look very authentic. He didn't settle for anything less. He wanted the best for Krishna. Okay, so like that, they had a Rath Yatra function for 8 days. When Prabhupada created his Rath cart and he announced that he's going to have a Rath Yatra, he started the Rath cart, he pulled it, and he took it to the Radha Govinda temple nearby, and then he celebrated the function for 8 days. A lot of people from the neighboring areas, everyone came and they participated in the function. Prabhupada's mother used to cook so many items as prasadam every day, and she would distribute it. And everyone participated, everyone in the neighborhood. Some people sang, some people danced, some people did arati, some people pulled the rath. Like that, it was a very, very authentic Rath Yatra, and everyone would look forward to Prabhupada's Rath Yatra. So even when he was a young boy, he created his own Rath and he pulled his Rath. And I'm very proud of all of you on the call, because during the camp, I saw everybody had made your own Rath. That was so wonderful. You're all following so nicely in the footsteps of Prabhupada. Such beautiful children. So continue to do that in the spirit of service, just like Srila Prabhupada. Okay, you've been wonderful children, so please continue to do that. Now, Abhay, he also had toys, like you all have toys. So I'm sure you all have toys. Let me ask you all if there are any toys that you like very much. You can answer.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, what is your favorite toy?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Very good.
Yes, Mataji. My favorite Mataji. My favorite machine mine.
Very good.
This is Rashika. My favorite is Dr. Set. My favorite is Mine is the Dr. Set too. My favorite is Kitty. My favorite toy is the pink bear.
Ah, you have such amazing choices, all of you.
Cart.
Cart, very good. So like,
Radhika and Rashika, we have a question. We play kitchen set and Dr. Set. We like kitchen set and Dr. Set.
very good. So you all have such amazing toys.
I have a pink bear.
Oh wow, very nice.
Mataji, I have a puppy.
Oh, very good. Prabhupada was also very much like you all. He had a puppy, he had a jumping puppy, he had some cow toys, and then he loved to be the doctor. Okay, he also had a doctor set, and he would go to everyone and he would wear a stethoscope, and then he would go and check the pulse of everyone. So he loved all of this, like you all also enjoy having. See, all of you are very similar to Prabhupada's. You've all had similar tastes. So here, Abhay's toys included 2 guns, a wind-up car. He had a car too. I know all boys like cars. Don't you guys like cars? Even I like cars. So everyone likes car. Prabhupada also liked car. He had guns. Oh, he had guns. Okay, but it was safe guns, don't worry. And then he had a cow that jumped. And then he had a dog that made it dance. And this toy dog was from the doctor of the family. Abhay, sometimes he liked to pretend to be the doctor. Okay, like many of you have a doctor set. So Abhay loved it. And he would administer medicine to his friends if his friends were sick. And he would just take some dust and say, this is medicine. And he would give it. So that was Abhay Charan's toys. Okay. So then, not only was he, having fun like all of us, having toys.
Oh, yes,
But also, Prabhupada, he also had personal deities. As much as we all have fun, it is also important for us to focus on Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada showed by example even when he was a young boy. So Prabhupada had his personal deities. He had Radha Krishna deities, and he would serve them very, very nicely. So when he was just about 6 years old, he went and asked his father if he could have deities. And I know many of you on the call have deities, your personal altar where you have your Krishna Balram and Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Radharani dolls and you worship them. So similarly, when Prabhupada was 6 years old, he asked his father if he could have deities for his own personal worship, because when he was young, he would see how his parents would worship Radha Krishna. So seeing his parents, he developed the desire to have deities of Radha Krishna. So because of that, he went and asked his parents, and his parents very lovingly purchased him a little Radha Krishna deity. All of your parents have done that for you, right? I have seen so many pictures of all of you having your personal deities. So like that, Prabhupada's parents also got him his first pair of Radha Krishna. And just like how his Parents would do arati, he would look at them and he would also do arati. If they offered something, he would go and grab some offerings from his mother, come and offer it to his personal deities. So like that, Prabhupada enjoyed serving his deities. Though he was playing, he was doing all that, at the same time, he was Krishna conscious all the time. So that is something that we can learn from Srila Prabhupada. We all have similar toys, we have similar deities. So just like that, just like how we have the same things, we should also try to imbibe the mood of Prabhupada. Try to be like Prabhupada. Prabhupada was constantly Krishna conscious. So like that, though we are doing other things, we should also be Krishna conscious. Like that, Prabhupada grew up. It was time for Prabhupada to become a big boy and he had to go to college. Now, going to college is a big decision because when you go to college, you get exposed to so many things of this outside world and you also become a big person. You also have so much responsibility to hold on. So Abhay Charan's parents, they were so worried about him. They didn't want him to go to a foreign land. Some people were telling, send him to a foreign land, let him study, let him go to the law college. He will become a very big lawyer and so on. But then Gaur Mohan De, who was the father of Prabhupada, he said, not needed. Let my child be a good devotee. I don't want him to go somewhere and get corrupt with all these materialistic ideas. Let him be a simple boy. But on the other hand, Gaur Mohan didn't want his child to go and study in an ashram because at that time, Gaur Mohan couldn't identify an authentic guru. Okay, there was no he couldn't find a real authentic guru at that time, so he was skeptical because there were many fake gurus at that time. So he was very skeptical. How can I send my child to a brahmachari ashram? At the same time, I don't want to send my child outside the country. So therefore he decided to send him to a college nearby. It was called as the Scottish College, and Prabhupada went and studied there. And Gaur Mohan they thought that still my child will be under my supervision. Now, in college days, Prabhupada, he did study in a Scottish college, meaning he was exposed to so many different philosophies. He was exposed to a lot of Western scientific theories. He was really studying like any one of you are studying today. And as you grow older, you would get into specific fields where you will have to understand several theories, and sometimes the concept of atheism may get infiltrated. Okay, it can in the future. But then Prabhupada, though he was exposed to all that, his mood and spirit was always like that of a Vaishnava. He never forgot Krishna at any point in time. He could understand that all these conclusions, they are all just speculation, but his devotional mood was never ever compromised because he had received proper training in all the Vedic scriptures from his parents. Just like you all have been receiving this Vedic training right from your childhood. You're attending these classes, you're attending classes in the temple, you've all had proper training, you're all born in devotee families, many of you. Okay, so you have this training, you have this Vedic training. So Prabhupada, even in his college days, though he was exposed to different other philosophies and scientific speculations, still he maintained his mood of sticking to the right path of understanding that Krishna is ultimately in control, and he maintained that Vaishnava mood till the end. Okay, in his heart, he was always thinking something devotional about God, and as a college man also, he was giving attention to his academics. It was not that he, just because he went to college and he was thinking of Krishna, he gave up his academics. No, he also did that properly, but his internal mood was that of a devotee of Krishna. So he did his duties properly. He went to college, he studied, he passed his exams, he did everything. But his internal mood was that of devotion. So that is something very, very nice we can really imbibe from Srila Prabhupada. So when Prabhupada was in college, obviously he had so many assignments, he had so many duties to take care of, and he couldn't give proper attention to his deities that he had got from his parents. So then his deities started complaining. One night after the first year of Srila Prabhupada's college days, he had an unusual dream. And in the dream, the deity of Radha Krishna, they appeared and they started complaining to Prabhupada. They said, why have you put us in this box? Why did you forget us? You've gone to your college and you've forgotten us completely. We are sitting in this box for so long. So please take me out and worship us again. And then Abhay Charan could understand that he had neglected his deities in the name of assignments. So what he did was he took out his deities and he resumed his worship of Radha Krishna in spite of all the assignments and commitments he had in college. So another lesson for us, we all have deities, we all worship either Gopal, or we could be worshipping or we could have some sort of little deities in our own capacity. We may not be doing big time deity worship like our parents or in the temple, but we do have our own little deities that you are worshipping, like dolls or deities that you're worshipping. Always remain faithful to them and always remember them even after you grow up. Okay, so like that, Srila Prabhupada, he realized that these deities were actually in a box, and he went and he opened up the box and he continued to worship his Radha Krishna deities. Prabhupada he was old enough, his college was done, and eventually, as he was a young man, he got married, and his life changed drastically. He got married, he had children, he had a business that he was taking care of. But then, when he was around 26 years old, Abhay had a friend by the name Narendranath Malik. Narendranath Malik wanted to take Abhay to meet different sadhus. Especially one day he wanted him to meet a particular sadhu from Mayapur. Now at this time, Abhay was not very interested because Abhay had seen so many sadhus since his childhood. Gaur Mohan would invite several sadhus to his house. Many of them were fake sadhus. Okay, in India it's very common to see fake sadhus. So Abhay was always skeptical about these people. But then this friend Narendranath, he kept forcing Prabhupada, I really want you to see this wonderful man. If you see this, your life will change. If you see this person, your life will change. So like this, Naren, he pulled Prabhupada and he took him to a great Vaishnava. And this Vaishnava is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. When Abhay and Naren, they saw Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur face to face, Abhay could understand that this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is such an authentic guru, and he fell flat with prostrated obeisances, and he paid his obeisances to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and he gave his heart to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, seeing the authenticity of this wonderful sadhu. So at that time, Abhay, he accepted Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur as his guru. He could see how authentic Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was, how authentic his teachings were, and how nicely he was holding on to the disciplic succession. Then, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gave a very, very important instruction to them. He looked at Abhay and he told him, why don't you preach Lord Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's message throughout the whole world? So this was the instruction given by his guru to him. This was the first instruction that he received. You preach Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message in the English-speaking language throughout the world. And later, Abhay also got initiated by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And once during Vrindavan Parikrama, when he was with his guru, Saraswati Thakur had several disciples. But then he asked his disciples if they all would like to go on a parikrama to go and see different places in Vrindavan, or if they wanted to just sit and listen to Bhagavad Katha that he was doing. Abhay Charan was so interested in listening to his guru. He said, okay, let them all go on parikrama, I want to listen to you. And Bhakti Siddhanta felt so happy. Saraswati Thakur was so happy. He said, this boy really likes to listen. So he appreciated the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he didn't have so much regular association with the spiritual master. It was very brief. His association with the spiritual master was very few times and very brief. But he was a very sincere devotee, very, very sincere. It doesn't matter how much you're associating with your guru, but how much you listen to your guru's instructions, that is actually important. And our Prabhupada, he perfectly exhibited that. though he did not go and join his spiritual master in the ashram full time or something like that, he was still holding on to his instructions and he was following it. And in fact, later his spiritual master appeared in his dream and asked him to take sannyas and go to the West and preach. And ultimately, Srila Prabhupada took sannyas and he came to the West and he came to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. And it is only because of Prabhupada that we are all listening to nice Krishna Katha every day. We are having these classes. Whatever we have, the Krishna book or anything you can think of in this life that we are having, it is all because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was,
I can't see the one that says 1964 because your thing is there. Okay.
okay. If Prabhupada was not there, then we would all be lost souls. So we are very, very indebted to Prabhupada. Okay? So see, this is a short Prabhupada timeline. All the events of Prabhupada. So he took birth in 1896. He met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in 1922. 1933, Prabhupada got initiated. He started Back to Godhead magazine in 1944. He accepted Vanaprastha in 1951. He created Jhansi, forgive me. He went to Jhansi and he initiated his first disciple, Acharya Prabhakar. Very, very interesting pastimes at that time. And then he moved to Vrindavan. Actually, he spent some time in Vrindavan in 1956. And in September 17, 1959, he was awarded sannyas by one of his godbrothers. And then he began to publish the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, volume 1, canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. 1964, he published the volume 2 of canto 1, and then it went on. He published volume 3, and then he, in August 13 at 1:30, he at 1:30 from Calcutta, he began his voyage to the US in the Jaladuta ship. So you all know this pastime of Prabhupada coming to the US. He came in a Jaladuta ship and he suffered 2 heart attacks and he had a very hard time, seasickness. And imagine, he was such an old man. He was almost in his 70s. He was just before his 69th birthday, he boarded the ship. So it's no joke, even at this age, if we have a little ailment, we are all, we just stop doing everything. We just give up. But Prabhupada, when he was such an old man with 2 heart attacks, he came to the West and he created a revolution. So many people's lives were transformed because of Prabhupada. And he arrived on September 17th at 5:30 in Boston Pier. So this was his historical arrival in America. What happened after he came to America, everyone knows. He created a revolution, the number of disciples, the number of temples, the number of books, the number of publications, they are endless. So this is a list of all his accomplishments, what all he did. He wrote, he dictated so many books. There are so many conversations of Prabhupada. He wrote so many purports. He wrote purports to 18,000 verses of the Bhagavatam. Even if you read one verse with purport daily, it would take the reader 49 years to complete. He translated and wrote the purports of 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Reading one verse with purport daily would take a person 2 years to complete his Bhagavad Gita. He translated and wrote purports to the 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Reading one verse with a purport daily would take the reader 31 years to complete the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He also wrote teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Nectar of Devotion, teachings of Lord Kapila. He created the Back to Godhead magazine. He wrote 7,000 letters to his disciples. And this letters alone is published in 5 volumes of books. Only the Srimad Bhagavatam lectures that he has given are compiled in 7-volume books. The Bhagavad Gita lectures are compiled in 7-volume books, Bhagavatam in 11-volume books, Conversations in 42-volume books. He has produced innumerable recordings and he has established 108 temples. Wherever you go, you have an ISKCON. That is because of Prabhupada. It's not a joke, to have a temple wherever you go. He published 147 books. To publish one book, you know how long it takes? He published 147 books. And that too in a very short year, in a very short period of 11 years. That is Srila Prabhupada. And if one just tries to read one book monthly, he will finish it if you start in 2014, you would finish in 2031. You can do the math. So many years would take to just finish reading Prabhupada's books. And he traveled around the world 14 times in that ripe age. Just one trip to India with a jet lag, you'd be so exhausted. Prabhupada traveled around the world 14 times. And he changed the life of thousands and thousands of people. He has taken so many disciples, and now we have grand disciples and the next generation disciples. You all are there. You're all doing amazing, amazing job, all of you. So please continue to do this and carry out the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada has given us something very special. We should hold on to it and make it even more special with our efforts in Krishna consciousness. Some interesting facts I wanted to say that in August 30, 1965, Srila Prabhupada set sail from India to America as the only passenger on a cargo ship. Okay, he was the only passenger on the cargo ship, along with a small suitcase. What did he have? What were his possessions? He had a small suitcase. He had some books, umbrella, a supply of dry cereal. That's all he had. Imagine if we are going on a trip, what all we would be preparing. We would have sandwiches, we would have roti sabji, we would have every damn thing, right? Paratha, everything we would have. But Prabhupada, this is what he had. He had a supply of books. He had an umbrella. He had dry cereal, and the money he had was only $7. We would make sure we have our credit cards. We would make sure we had liquid cash, everything if you're going on a journey. This is all Prabhupada had, $7 worth of Indian currency. And it was a foreign land. He didn't know what to expect in America. He didn't know what these people would actually, whether these people would accept what he's giving. He was old. His health was terrible. Imagine having 2 heart attacks is no joke. His health was terrible, and all that he had was faith and love Krishna. This was Srila Prabhupada. He remembered the instructions of his spiritual master, and because his spiritual master had told him, if at all you get any money, print books. This was one more instruction that Prabhupada's spiritual master had given him. If at all you get any money, print books. So Prabhupada had never forgotten that instruction. So that's why you have all these books of Srila Prabhupada and so much knowledge, so many classes, everything because of one person, Srila Prabhupada. So it's a very important day for all of us, and we should feel very grateful from our heart. We just have 1 or 2 more minutes. Either we can read this pastime or we can take questions. Okay, what we can do is we can read this pastime quickly. It's an interesting pastime. I thought we can read all of Prabhupada's pastimes are wonderful, but I was reminded of this pastime. So let me, I think I can unmute everyone. Who would like to read?
Mataji, can we go by raise hands?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. Someone can start. I think the new ones I'll ask. Parik, would you like to start?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Nice story. First part with Prabhupada traveling to South America with his 2 servants. The temple where they had been gave them packed lunch for the plane. So in the air, Shrutakirti, Prabhupada's servant, opened Prabhupada's lunch bag and served him his prasadam of puffed rice and peanuts. Prabhupada had his fill and handed over the remnants to Shrutakirti, who had just been eating when the lady air hostess came over and in one motion says that looks tasty and grabs a handful, throws it in her mouth. Prabhupada smiled. Shrutakirti was somewhat shocked. She then asked, why bring your own food? Shrutakirti informed her that they are vegetarian, etc., etc. She immediately said that is there anything else I can get? Use fruit milk? Prabhupada said hot milk. 5 minutes later, she returned with 3 cups of hot milk she got from the first class. Prabhupada thanked her and the devotees discussed among themselves. Prabhupada remarking that it is the natural nature of pious women to serve. Anyway, over the years, this had been one of Shrutakirti's favorite Prabhupada pastimes to tell.
Thank you. Shri?
Mataji, I should read part 2.
Yes. Anyway, now part 2 from there, Shri.
Okay. Anyway, now part 2. He was recently again in South America doing a preaching tour, enlivening devotees there and selling his book, What is the Difficulty? And he told that story in Brazil. Afterward, one devotee came up to him and asked would Shrutakirti Prabhu like to hear an amazing story. This devotee was out in some remote village going door to door selling books. When he knocked on a door, a lady opened the door wearing tilak. She invited the devotee in, and her house was like a little temple, an altar with deities, pictures on the walls, and all of the Prabhupada's books in Portuguese in her bookshelf. The devotee just had to ask her how she became a devotee. She said that she used to be an airline hostess some years ago, and she met the author of these books. He was so saintly and gentle and kind that she looked up who he was and what he did from his boarding pass name. That she then got some of his books and began to read. They said to chant, so she chanted and offered her food to Krishna. So she did all that and became a devotee from that small contact. Shrutakirti got smacked, while at the same time understood the potency of prasadam and even a moment's association with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. Now that has become one of Shrutakirti's favorite stories to tell also.
Thank you so much. So this story, just to summarize, Prabhupada, when he was traveling in a flight in South America, there was an air hostess who saw that Prabhupada had some nice puffed rice that he had carried, like a rice cereal that he had carried in his bag. So when Prabhupada was honoring the prasadam in the flight, and Shrutakirti Prabhu was sitting next to him, who was his personal servant, he was also honoring the prasadam. That time, this air hostess who was walking by, she just put her hand and she took a handful. Just seeing the piety of these people, she just took and she put it in her mouth. So that Maha Prasad, it was actually first given from Prabhupada to Shrutakirti and Prabhu, and then this lady, she had taken it from Shrutakirti Prabhu's plate. So this Maha that had come from Prabhupada had created so much potency, and she was so attracted to Srila Prabhupada's demeanor that she started reading his books, and she just got so much mercy and she became a devotee. And the same people, some of the devotees, they actually finally met her when they were going on book distribution. She had been completely transformed to a devotee. So like this, there are many stories of Prabhupada. Prabhupada's potency is unexplainable. His mercy is unexplainable. We are all recipients of that mercy. So we should always remain grateful, remain in Prabhupada's movement, and preach according to his desire. Okay, so I will end here, and unfortunately I have a service, so I have to leave now. If you have questions, some of the Matajis can take the questions. I'm running late. So Mataji, shall I leave, Mataji?
Hi Krishna, yes Mataji, we can
and
end the call.
If you have any questions, you can definitely ask Mataji. I won't be there here, but Matajis will help you, okay? Hare Krishna.
Hi Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Thank you Mataji. Wonderful presentation.
Mataji, will you on your video or you just want to be like that?
Hare Krishna. Yes Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So kids, you all have any questions? Haribol?
Yes, I will unmute all, Mataji. Just give me 1 second. Yes. Now, kids,
I have a question. Mataji,
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, my question is that when Prabhupada did that, I've read that when he got the 2 guns, like where did he get the 2 guns from? That he the 2 guns that he got, where did he get them from?
Which one were you talking about?
Mataji, like when Mataji said that what toys he had, in the starting she said that he had 2 guns.
Yeah, like
Then
that.
where
You know,
did he
like
get them from?
kids, when you are small, when like you get anywhere toys outside also. So like that, he had got it from, like in India when there are small, like if there is any festival and you go somewhere, then there are toys outside, right? So like that, from there he had got that. And like kids are more fascinated, right? Like so from there he had got that thing.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Pari. Yes, Pranav. You mute, I guess.
you can unmute yourself, Pranav. Mute it.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, how did Srila Prabhupada get his name since he used to be called Abhay Charan? How did he
Yeah.
get the name Srila Prabhupada?
Yeah, see, like, according to our scriptures, Prabhupada, that means, see, like when we call Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also, we call them also Srila Prabhupada, okay? So, Srila Prabhupada is not a name, but it's just like how Indra is one position, right? How we say Indra is a position, it's not the name. Just like that, Prabhupada, that means the lotus feet of the person. So, it is that is the reason we call them Srila Prabhupada, okay? And when we say read a purport, or when we say, right, we tell the whole name of Srila Prabhupada, right? Like instead of saying also, some of them will not say A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Like they will say Abhay Charana Arvinda, and then they will say Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada is just like how Swamiji, they call Swamiji, right? So Swamiji is not a name of a person, right? So like that, it is Srila Prabhupada. And these earlier disciples used to call him Swamiji. And then some of them then later said that it is Srila Prabhupada. When we say, that is more authentic, or that is more respect that you can give him. Got it, Pranav?
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll take one more question. Who is it? Who wants to go next? Keshavi is there. Radhika is there. You can unmute and ask.
Yeah, they can unmute, Mataji.
After this, the Madhava class is there, right, Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji. Vaishnava Bhajan class now.
Okay. We can take another 2 questions. Yes,
Yeah.
Keshavi, and who else is Radhika?
Radhika, do you want to ask question? Okay. Yeah. You
Yes,
can
Radhika.
unmute yourself, Radhika.
Why did Prabhupada's guru send Prabhupada to preach the message of Chaitanya and go to West Country?
Very, very nice question. You know what? The guru, you know how X-ray machine works? Like when you go to a doctor's office and you take a X-ray, the X-ray machine can find out everything in your body, right? Within the bones. Like that, a guru's vision, when a real guru, not about the fake guru, a real guru can see through you. They can understand what is going in your mind. If the guru, when they look at you also, they can understand, oh, Radhika, Rasika, did you do some mischief today? Right? So when Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, when he looked into it, he knew, what Srila Prabhupada is called as a warrior, right? A Sankirtan warrior. That means it was already written that one warrior will come and he will spread my name. And that was Srila Prabhupada. And his Guru Maharaj is so elevated that when he saw him, he immediately knew it, that he is this. And second thing, if you look at the very practical aspect, it is that Srila Prabhupada's knowledge And Srila Prabhupada's English was so good and he was so clear in his thoughts that his Guru Maharaj, he said that if you have this knowledge and if you have this very good vocabulary and English, why don't you go to the foreign countries, because there people will you will be able to communicate with them. Okay, so there are two aspects to it. Okay, Radhika. So we have Karthik. Karthik, you have some question? Karthik, you can unmute yourself. Yes, Karthik.
Don't have anything to say.
Okay. Okay, we can take Krishna Priya or Keshavi. Both are there. If anybody has a question, we'll take that last question and then we can wind up. Keshavi, did you have a question? No. Okay. Krishna Priya, did you have a question?
Yeah, she is unmuted, Mataji. She can speak.
Okay. Then we have, yeah, who is it?
It's usual. Like when did this class start? Because I feel like I came a bit late. I just came.
Oh,
back.
it started at 6:15 p.m. CST and it is ending now. But you know what? If you miss the class, Ujjwal, you can look at the recording. Mataji will be sending the recording. It's a very wonderful class. I would really like if everybody again goes back to it and listens to it.
Which class is this?
This is Govinda group, Ujjwal, and it is on from Monday to Thursday. It is basically for the age group 7 and up. So like some of the Damodar group also they attend, some of the Madhava group also attend. And if you not know, but when you can attend any of the classes, okay? If you feel you want to attend.
I'm in the Madhava group, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so next time what we will do is when the class is there, we will send a reminder, okay?
Yeah,
from Monday to...
I actually came for the bhajan class, but I think that's...
Yeah, bhajan class is starting in 3 minutes, Ujjwal, okay? Yeah, you can again join back.
I guess I visited the wrong Zoom call then. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Everything happens for the best, right? So you can listen to this class also. It's about Srila Prabhupada. Okay, kids. So we will have to end the call because the Madhava groups are coming.
Mataji, send the link for Govinda class. Mataji.
For the Madhava class, you mean? For the bhajan class?
Govinda class.
Okay, I will send the link, okay?
Mataji,
Yes? Haribol? Mataji, I think we will end the call then. Vinita Gandharika Mataji?
It's getting late. Yes, Mataji. It's getting late. We can end the call.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.